The rumor mill is up and running, and it seems like a brand new God of War game is on the horizon. Let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about these God of War rumors that spread and cropped up over the internet this past weekend about a new game that is supposed to be coming to the series later on this year, and the rumors are saying that it is going to be set back in Greece. These rumors sprouted up, like I said, this past weekend. I think they originally cropped up on March 22nd, courtesy of Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb. I know I'm late to the party on this discussion. I just did not have a chance to record a video talking about this any sooner than I currently am, but I did want to still talk about it nonetheless, even though I am late to the party. Now, if you are not aware of Jeff Grubb's post that he posted over on Blue Sky, he posted this, he put this post up on there saying, a more of a follow-up to a post that he shared about a month ago back in February about how the God of War remaster rumors that had been spreading on the internet for quite a bit, about how he said that, he thinks that they had just jumped the gun a bit and that the God of War trilogy remaster would be appearing at the God of War 20th anniversary that happened this past weekend. Now that the anniversary has finished, it's over, we know that clearly, obviously, that did not happen, but just before the anniversary happened, Jeff Grubb posted on Blue Sky, following up on those remaster reports and rumors, saying over on Blue Sky, okay, everyone keeps asking about this, so I've tried to find out more. There's still a Greek God of War thing coming out this year, but it's not a remaster collection, it's a new side story project. This is very interesting, to say the least. The Greek side of things has more or less been put to the wayside in the new Norse era of God of War. Yes, narratively, Kratos has, he's had to battle and reconcile with his past, with his events that things that he did back in Greece across the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, and in the Valhalla DLC for Ragnarok. We literally kind of went to Greek-inspired areas and we fought Greek enemies. It was actually really cool. He came face to face with his younger self, from the Greek era, and had a heart-to-heart conversation. It was a really great DLC, but really ever since the Norse era, the Greek stuff has been put to the wayside. It's been left in the past, and we have moved on from it. So it's interesting. Again, this is a rumor. I want to stress right now, this is a rumor. None of this is official. Just because Jeff Grubb is saying it right now does not mean it will actually come to pass, because rumors are just rumors. Things that are in development can change at any point in time. Jeff Grubb is very credible though. He is very credible. He is very reliable. Let us not forget that. I don't want to take that away from him. But of course, these things that are rumors are not official until they are official. Now, that being said, it is interesting that if we are getting a side story project of some sort for God of War, that it would be going back to the Greek era. And, I can see the rationale behind that, but I'm of two minds of it. Going back to the Greek era, it would be a neat nostalgia play of sorts, Again, if it does happen this year for the 20th anniversary year, going back to the location, the setting that started it all, it'd be a great nostalgia play, and that would be really fun. I could see some appeal in that. Me being a longtime God of War fan, I would be hyped for that as well. I'd be very excited to, go back to that era and just kind of relive the glory days, the old days of God of War, in a new story, whatever it may be. That said, at the same time, I do have to wonder, this does bring about many different questions, okay? If we are going back to the Greek era of God of War, even if this is a new side story project, what does that mean the game will actually be? Are we going to retain the new style of God of War gameplay that we have with God of War 2018 and Ragnarok? That, you know, the close over the shoulder, third person, more methodical type of gameplay? Or are we going to have a game that is really going all the way back to classic God of War, where it is more of a character action hack and slash style game, like the original God of War trilogy was, like the PSP games were, like Ascension was? Are we going back to that style of gameplay? It's a very important question to ask. I mean, because, you know, the Greek era is really highly associated with that, and the Norse era is associated with the new style. So what are we going to have? What are we going to do? And many people really love the new style of God of War combat, even if the old one is really it's still fun and still beloved by many. I personally feel like the new style, I prefer it over the old style, but the old style is still really great. So are we going back to that, or are we keeping the new style? Who knows? If we are, again, if this project is real, if it's a side story project, again, is it going to be an older story, a previous story, a backstory of sorts for Kratos from when he was in Greece? Or is it going to be a new character in the Greek era? Spoilers for God of War Ragnarok here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Spoiler warning done. The end of God of War Ragnarok, Atreus, he went off on his own journey. Is this side story going to feature Atreus being in the Greek era, being in Greece, and going on his own journey there? That maybe that could be a way to tell a brand new story in Greece, in the God of War world. Because my thing is, if it is a side story project in Greece and it features Kratos, and it's a young Kratos, like we're going back in time on this here, I kind of wonder and worry, like, what's the story that we're telling? I honestly feel like we have bled the Greek era of Kratos' life dry. I don't know what more story there is to tell, and that's not to say that there can't be one, but I wonder what story is there that's worth telling, especially after the incredible stories that we got in the Norse era with God of War and God of War Ragnarok, where we really just really dug deep into Kratos. Kratos has evolved so much past who he was before. If we're gonna go back to the well of Kratos in the Greek era, it'll feel a bit like a regression of his character, a regression of his narrative, just for the sake of nostalgia. And I don't necessarily know if that's something I would want to see. I would still play the game, and I'm sure it would still be a lot of fun, and I'm sure I would still get a kick out of old classic angry Kratos just ripping people up and just being a straight jerk to everyone. I'm sure I would get so much enjoyment out of that. But at the same time, is it worth doing that at the cost of possibly feeling a regression from where we've seen his character go and where we've seen his character grow and become in Ragnarok by the end of that game and the end of the Valhalla DLC? I don't know if it's a trade-off that I think is necessarily worth it. If we are going to have a side story project in Greece, probably be best to do it with a new character, or again, maybe it's an Atreus project. Who knows? Honestly, those are like my two big questions regarding this. What's the gameplay going to be like? And who's the story going to surround? Who's it going to revolve around? Those are my two big key questions about this project. If it is real, again, this is just a rumor. Now, all that said, I want to touch on another point regarding this. That being that, you know, it being a side story project, the way Jeff Grubb talks about it here, when he says it's not a remaster collection, we're still getting God of War, but it's a side story project. It gives to me the impression that it is a smaller scale project. It's not a large scale God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok project. It's still like a AAA game, but it's not on that level. I think it tells me something more along the lines of like an Uncharted Lost Legacy, a Spider-Man Miles Morales scale type of project, something smaller scale that's, maybe a good 10-15 hours long, but it still has the budget behind it you would expect from your traditional God of War game, but just a shorter game, smaller scale, something that really is just meant to hold us over until either A, the next God of War game comes out, whenever it comes out, or also B, to help hold us over until Sony Santa Monica's next game, which, fingers crossed, will be a new IP. It's been rumored for a while that Sony Santa Monica is working on a new IP. I hope to God that they are. That way, if we do get more God of War from them in the future, that we are getting at least something that's not God of War in the meantime. And if this next project if this God of War thing is coming this year, it is a smaller scale project, I'm totally fine with that coming before the new IP. I just don't want another huge, big, large scale, Ragnarok size God of War game before a new IP from Sony Santa Monica, because I want new ideas from them, and sooner rather than later. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that whatever this is a smaller scale thing, a Miles Morales size, a Lost Legacy sized project from Sony Santa Monica, assuming it is also Sony Santa Monica making it. I just would assume that it is them, considering that all they've done since they've been created is God of War games. So those are my thoughts on this. I'm okay with this. I'm not too excited about it, but I'm also not too down on it. Nonetheless, I love the original God of War trilogy. It's awesome. It's great. God of War 3 is one of the most epic, badass games I've ever played. I've been actually meaning to replay it for a couple years now, just have not had the time to. So, I don't want to sound like I am just poo-pooing the idea of returning to Greek-era God of War. I'm not. I honestly think that, if they did it, it would be fun. It could be cool. There could be a whole lot of hype and excitement from it. Especially if they went back to the old style God of War gameplay, because the scale that, the way that those games portrayed scale, the way Kratos was in relation to the Titans or Hades or some of the beasts that we fought, the way that it showed the scale was something just unbelievable. Just think about God of War 3 and how you are fighting on top of Gaia at the start of that game, or how the fight against Kronos near the midpoint or the end of the game. The scale was absolutely wild. So to be able to get something like that with, new enemies, whatever the case may be, on PS5 hardware with the power of the PS5, can only imagine what they would do, even if it was a smaller scale game. But nonetheless, I do also wonder, hey, again, would it feel like it's a regression in terms of gameplay? Would it feel like it's a regression in terms of story if we're doing Kratos again, another Kratos story from the Greek era in terms of his character? Do we really need that? We didn't really need Ascension, but we got that, and the story in that game was fine. It was nothing to write home about. We definitely did not need it after God of War 3 came out. So do we need to mine those depths of Kratos' past any more than we already have? Do we need to milk that cow utterly dry? I don't think so. If we're gonna go back to Greek era, preferably a new character, I'm down with Atreus, a Atreus side story in the Miles Morales style of smaller scale projects would be fun. I'd be all for it. Even if I wasn't that fond of playing as Atreus in Ragnarok, I'd be down for it here. Or are we going to have, if it is a Kratos game, is it going to be modern day gameplay style? I don't know. There are many, many questions to be had about this God of War side story project that is reportedly rumored to be coming later on this year. Who knows? Hey, who knows when we'll hear about it? Maybe we'll hear about it at an upcoming State of Play, assuming there is a State of Play before, May, June, Summer Game Fest stuff kicks off. If there's a State of Play in April, maybe we'll hear about it there. Maybe it's just a random announcement one day. Who knows? But if it's not, I imagine that if it is coming this year, it is something that we will be hearing about come Summer Game Fest time. So end of May, beginning of June, that time frame is when we'd be hearing about it and getting a release date of some sort for the fall, the second half of 2025. Nevertheless, though, let me know your thoughts on this God of War project down in the comment section below. Is it something that you are excited about? Are you interested in it? What are your hopes? What are your fears? Do you share the same thoughts as me on this? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot, and we'll talk next time. Have a good one.